everyone, welcome back to Essy Cooks. In this video, we're going to be doing another meal prep in under 1 hour for 1 week. So we're going to have about 4 days worth of food here. So we're making a lentil sloppy joe mixture for dinner. We're making a brownie baked oatmeal for breakfast. And we're making these delicious Asian miso tahini bowls for lunch, which are so good with the quinoa rice, and we make a creamy tahini dressing which brings it all together with the miso. Now, one thing you'll know, this is episode 4, one thing you'll know if you've been watching the other videos is that I don't like to eat the same thing for dinner every day, even though I don't mind doing it for breakfast and lunch. So with this sloppy joe mixture, we can actually freeze half of it. I try to always do a freezer friendly dinner so that we can save half of it for another week and just really mix it up. This sloppy joe mixture made with lentils, everything's completely vegan. It can even go on lettuce wraps. So the first thing we're going to do is get out our dry brown lentils. So we're going to get 1 cup of dry brown lentils here. If you have the time, I would recommend soaking them for about 4 hours. This aids in digestion, helps them cook a little bit faster, everything like that. If not, don't worry. Now, I also like to go through dry lentils and check if there's any debris in them, any dirt, any debris before I go ahead and soak them. I'm going to be washing them as well, but I do like to just carefully file through. Sometimes you find a little twig or who knows, it can happen. So just do a quick little look through just to make sure, because I know people have, and myself, I found little twigs and things in there as well that I like to just pull out. So now I'm just going to let those soak. I don't have a lot of time for them to soak, but hey, if you have a little bit of time, we're going to let those soak. You can also use canned lentils, which I'll discuss later. But now we're going to get on to breakfast. So we are going to make that brownie baked oatmeal. So we need 2 cups of either quick oats or rolled oats. We're going to add that directly into a baking dish. I'm going to put all the exact ingredients on the screen for you as well. Cocoa powder, we have baking powder, we have flax seeds. You can even add protein powder to this as well, vanilla or chocolate. If you're adding chocolate protein powder, you might want to cut down a little bit on the cocoa powder. For sweetener, we have maple syrup, we have peanut butter that we're going to be adding, all natural peanut butter, plant milk, vanilla. This comes together really fast, which is why I love prepping this for breakfast, because it only takes about 5 minutes of prep to make an oatmeal bake, and it lasts you all week long. It makes like 5 or 6 servings depending on how much you eat. It's a great snack. It's a great breakfast. I didn't add protein powder because we're going to be having protein smoothies as well, so I just didn't need to add it in there. Now I'm going to add a bunch of chocolate chips, dark chocolate chips in there, mix them in, and add a few more on top for decoration. Yum. I'm going to throw that in the oven at 350 and let that bake, and my girlie's going to get a little bit of peanut butter, and I'm going to start by just cutting up my onion and garlic here. I flick a little bit of water onto the onion to reduce the fumes, and I actually swear by this tip because my eyes are always burning, and this helps so much. So we're going to finely dice up 1 yellow onion and 3 cloves of garlic. This is going to be for our sloppy joe mixture later. I'm just prepping it now because there's a lot of moving parts. So if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, please. And that I'm going to rinse off those lentils that we talked about earlier that were soaking for a little bit. I guess that was probably soaked for about 1 hour. I started them earlier before filming this video. Now I'm going to rinse them off. Again, you can do a double take and check and make sure there's nothing in those lentils. And now, oh, I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. There's my dirty dishes on my camera. We're going to fill a pot with about 4 cups of water, bring that to a boil, and we're going to add those rinsed lentils right into the pot. Sorry, honestly, don't know what happened there, but it's too late. I'm already doing this twice over, so just bear with me here. Okay, so I'm going to want to cook those lentils for about 17 to 20 minutes on simmer until they are nice and cooked through. Like I said, if you don't want to do that, you can use 3 cups of canned brown lentils. Okay, now I'm going to be making my quinoa rice, so I'm going to use half a cup of quinoa and half a cup of white basmati rice. Now, this is just because I want to have that white rice flavor, but I want to make it a little bit healthier by adding quinoa. So you want to make sure the rice that you choose is going to cook around the same time as the quinoa, since we're cooking them together. So this rice will take about 12 minutes to cook. The quinoa takes about 15. That's fine. That's close enough. But if it's a type of rice that's going to take a really long time to cook, you maybe don't want to use that. It's not going to work out. You can make just straight quinoa, you can make just straight rice, you can even make noodles to go with this recipe. So that is totally up to you. Now I'm going to put in 1 3/4 cup of water, not a full 2 cups, because it won't come out as fluffy trust me on this with the quinoa. And then I'm going to add in that quinoa and rice, so it was half a cup of each, and I'm going to allow that to simmer for about 15 minutes. Keep an eye on that, make sure it doesn't boil over. Now I've got either 1 large carrot or 2 small carrots, and I've got about half a cabbage. Now some of the cabbage I'm going to be grating to go with my sloppy joes, and some of it is going to be going into my lunch salad, so that's why I'm using a whole half a cabbage. It seems like a lot, but slaw is the perfect side for your sloppy joe, so I might as well grate it now while I have it. Now my husband popped out for a minute. He's been working really hard on the website. Make sure you check out essycooks.com. There's so many meal preps on there. Everything's plant-based, and it's not just meal prep. We have tons of recipes on there, so make sure you check that out if you're looking for more recipes like this. Now he's going to grate up that cabbage and carrot for me really quick in the food processor, and then he's getting back to work. So if you want, you can use just a regular cheese grater, or you can even use a vegetable peeler to grate these up. Doesn't matter. However you get it done, just get it done. Or you can even buy cabbage that's already been pre-grated with carrots. Even easier. If you want to save time, do that. Now we've got 1 brick of tofu, extra firm, that has been drained and pressed. I'm going to cut that into cubes, and I'm going to throw that directly into a bowl. Now, to make tofu crispy, we're always going to be adding cornstarch. That's what makes it super crispy, and it's gluten-free too. Now, if you want this to be gluten-free, use tamari instead of soy sauce, because we're adding 1 tablespoon of soy sauce in there for umami, for flavor. It really adds to the flavor of tofu because it's pretty plain. Now, for the dressing, I'm going to put the exact ingredients up on the screen for you. I'm making a double batch here, but you'll want to make a single batch unless you want extra. I don't know. You do you. I'll put the single batch ingredients up on the screen. So first I have tahini, then I have shiro miso paste. This stuff is so good. If you can find it, definitely try it out. It's good in so many different recipes, and it's a flavor bomb for plant-based recipes. Now, we're going to add in some lime juice, some maple syrup, or some honey, and we're going to add in some toasted sesame oil. Again, this is a huge flavor addition to this dressing. It tastes so good. Then we're going to add in some low-sodium soy sauce, or tamari if you want it to be gluten-free. And then we're going to add a little bit of water to thin it out. Now you can add garlic or ginger in here if you want, but I just feel like that takes extra time, and I was trying to do this really fast. So now I'm just going to blend this up really well. I'm going to be using an immersion blender, but you can use any blender that you have. But that is really thick. I do not want to keep it that thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more water in, a tablespoon or 2 at a time, and just keep blending it until I get the consistency I want. I'm going to show you the consistency that I got here, but it is all up to you. If you want it to be thicker, great. Thinner, great, doesn't matter. Just taste it and adjust it to your preference. So I actually added quite a bit of water in there to get it to this consistency, and it does thicken up a bit in the fridge as well. Something to keep in mind. Okay, my lentils are done cooking. Yay, so check that out. That's 3 cups about of cooked brown lentils. And look at that. You can taste test one to make sure that they are cooked all the way through. Now I'm going to grab a pan on medium heat. I used a wok just because I wanted a lot of space and I didn't want to spill anything since I'm moving so fast. It's on medium heat. I added 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and now that onion that I chopped up earlier is going to go directly in. I'm going to cook that for around 4 to 5 minutes on medium heat. Give it a little stir every now and again until the onion is nice and translucent and fragrant. This is such a good base for our vegan sloppy joes made with lentils. Now, I put my tofu in the air fryer at 390 for around 8 to 10 minutes until it's nice and crispy. So I'm giving that a little bit of a shake halfway through and just continue cooking that tofu at 390. I'm going to give it another 4 minutes. Check on it and see where it's at because I don't want to burn it. And now my quinoa rice is looking like that is almost ready to be fluffed. So I'm going to give that a nice little fluff with the fork. And then what I'm going to do is just put the lid back on and allow that to fluff for another 5 minutes. So look at how good that turned out. Sorry about the steam, but look at how good and fluffy that turned out. And we're getting all the health benefits and extra protein and fiber from quinoa. So I love that. Once again, like I said, you can use noodles, you can use straight rice, whatever you want. Now I'm going to add in that garlic from earlier in with the onion. And I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, and I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of chili powder into my sloppy joe mixture. So that's going to add a lot of flavor. We want to bloom those spices. We want to toast them up in the pan for a minute. So I'm just going to stir those for about 30 seconds in the pan. Make sure they don't burn. Make sure they don't stick. And then we're going to add in our next ingredient, which is 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I want to stir that in and cook that for about 1 minute as well. This is going to add a lot of delicious flavor to the base of this sloppy joe mix. There's quite a few condiments in here, but honestly, they really do all come together in the end when you throw this onto a bun. It is so good. So next up, I'm going to add in those cooked lentils that we cooked up from earlier. Make sure we get them all in there. Give those a nice little stir in with the base here, and make sure everything is well coated. Now we're going to add in tomato sauce. So that could be a marinara. It could be, I just had like a Hunt's tomato sauce. I'm going to add 1 cup of that. Whatever crushed tomatoes, tomato sauce you have on hand, totally fine. I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of mustard. Random, I know, but just trust me on this one. And then 2 tablespoons of either pure maple syrup or brown sugar. Now we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce. The barbecue sauce I had wasn't overly dark, and I wanted a dark color in this, so I did add in about a teaspoon of blackstrap molasses, which honestly I love. It adds to the flavor as well, and it's a good source of iron too, so hey, why not? I added that in. I'm going to mix that up, and I'm just going to allow that to simmer for about 5 minutes. It can simmer longer. It's only going to get better with time, but if you're short on time, just allow that to cook for about 5 minutes on low heat until those ingredients are just really combining. And yeah, you can even leave it up to 20 minutes to simmer if you want. You might need to add just a little bit more liquid to it. We do want a sloppy joe mixture to be fairly juicy, if you will, so you don't want it to dry out too much, or it's not going to have that right texture that we're looking for. So I'm just going to cover that with the lid. I'm going to steam and simmer that for a little bit while I go ahead and prepare my bowls, my tofu bowls. So I've got my cooked tofu here, golden brown, ready to go. I'm going to add it into a bowl, and I'm going to drizzle on a little bit of hoisin sauce, so about 2-3 tablespoons, however much you want. If you don't have hoisin sauce, that's fine. You could use something like teriyaki or something like that. We're going to give that a really good toss just to totally combine those in the sauce. This is one of my favorite ways to make tofu. Air fry it, crispy with cornstarch, and add a little bit of sauce afterwards. So easy, and it just works in so many recipes. Okay, now I've got 4 meal prep containers here. I'm going to evenly divide the tofu between them all, and then I'm going to evenly divide that quinoa rice between them all as well. And then I'm going to add in cabbage and carrots, however much you like, probably about a cup of cabbage and a 1/4 cup of carrots, something like that. Now I have 1 cup of cooked edamame. I'm going to be spreading that between the 4 of them as well. Extra protein, extra fiber, everything like that. I'm going to have to pay the edamame tax. Okay, now that that's all cleared up, you can see these beautiful bowls and how nice they turned out. I mean, they look so good, they taste so good, they have so much plant diversity and everything in them. And now I have my beautiful tahini sauce. But look, you can tell in the fridge, it did thicken up. So if you want it thinner, you can always thin it out with a little bit of water and blend it up again. But honestly, I didn't mind it being thick like this. So you're just going to drizzle a little bit of that miso tahini sauce right on top. So good. You can add that the day of, or you can add it on all your bowls at once. Totally up to you. I like to add it day of, so I just added it on 1 bowl and not all of them. And look at everything we made for the week. So like I said, this sloppy joe mixture is freezer friendly. I'm actually going to freeze half of it and save it for later so that I can have it another week, so I'm not eating the same thing every night. And look at that chocolatey, delicious breakfast. Yum. I know there's no fruit in there, but sometimes we just need chocolate. And I can have some fruit on the side over all of them, or a fruit smoothie. And there are beautiful bowls with that tahini dressing. This is so good. And don't forget, we grated up a ton of cabbage, so we're going to be having coleslaw all week. I might have grated up a little bit too much cabbage, but hey, we're going to get after it. We're going to have so much cabbage this week. And here's the final result of what it looks like for these sloppy joes with little coleslaw on them on a bun. So good. I hope that you loved this video. If you want to see more just plant-based meal prep videos like this one, just make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll keep coming out with more videos like this. And if you have any questions, please make sure to let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching.